Wow.
You know, I had to start it the right way. So welcome to episode 10. Today I have Gbemi with me. How would I describe Gbemi? Well, I think flavor is definitely a word that I would use when it comes to all the stuff that you do. Entrepreneur, business owner, free spirit.
Oh.
Quite a lot of things, right?
Yes.
The thing is about you is what I like is that you do a lot of things, but you do them well. A lot of people, you know, the whole jack of all trades, master of none. They kind of do a little bit of something, but it's not fully kind of on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk to some people and we'll go through everything that we need to go through. But let's start with the whole, you know, origins and everything. So originally, as the anthem told you, you're originally Nigerian, right? Born in Nigeria or?
Born and raised, like, I'm so Nigerian. It's problematic.
Right.
Yeah, I moved to Dubai when I was 16. I moved here to go to university. And then I've stayed back ever since.
Well, what made you come to Dubai, like, at such a young age? Was your family already here, or did everyone come, or is it just you by yourself?
No, it's a crazy story. So my family is Muslim,
okay,
right? And my dad wanted me to go to a Muslim country as opposed to going to the UK or the US for uni. Because my older siblings did that and he wasn't so happy with the results.
With the outcomes, yeah.
So I ended up coming here. We used to come on, like, every summer we'd go on vacation, and we came to Dubai a couple of times. And then one time we were here, my dad was like, there's schools here, right? You're going to stay here. Yeah. So I came. I did not want, like, the last place I wanted to be was in Dubai. I was like, I wanted to go to the UK. It was my dream. But I ended up here in Sharjah. My university was in Sharjah, right? It's a different...
It's a whole different kind of area, isn't it? It's like when people hear about Dubai and then they say they go to Sharjah. It's like, oh, this is... Because you can't even wear a vest in Sharjah.
Honestly, like, I was telling someone recently that in uni as well, we couldn't wear, like, skirts above our knees, and you couldn't wear, like... I wouldn't be able to wear this out of my campus dorm as well. But it was very interesting. Yeah, it was interesting.
Was it ladies only or was it mixed?
No, it was mixed. Okay. I went to an American university. It's called American University of Sharjah. AUS, yeah. And I didn't like it at first, but honestly, it was one of the best experiences that I could have had to set the foundation of who I am today.
Okay, and what was it? Was it a real culture shock coming here, or was it not so much because you've already come on holiday here and just like living here compared to Nigeria?
Oh my God! When I moved here, I had a blast. My family is, my dad's Muslim, so we I guess quite conservative, and I guess that was the whole point why they made me come to Dubai, right? Oh, did they not know?
No, it's like European here. They basically sent you to Europe, right? Yeah.
No, obviously I was in uni, but then I could go out. Like, and I started going out, and you know, the Dubai lifestyle was like when I was 16, as opposed to when I was back home. Like my family and my upbringing was so kind of tight. Like, literally, to leave the house, you had to have a gate pass. Wow. Like, that's the kind of home I grew up in, and my dad would have to sign the gate pass. Was that like
safety, or that was your dad's own gate pass? Like, he made that for you guys?
I think, you know what, honestly, I don't know. It's safety as well, because we did have security guards, but also I think control. Your dad actually made a homemade gate pass?
Oh,
yeah. So basically, my dad...
it wasn't like a community gate pass. It was like...
No, it's for the house. It's for real, it was the house.
Yes, and then, I like your dad.
To confirm, they would call the intercom. Okay, Gbemi's going out, and then they'd be like, yes. Amazing. And then when everyone, like, any car would go out, they would literally mark the plate number. It's crazy.
So I imagine you growing up and you're in the kitchen just opening the fridge and you're like, what are you doing? I want some milk, Dad. Where's your pass? Where's your milk pass? What are you doing?
Oh, yeah, if I could find my dad in the kitchen, he was never in the kitchen. Yeah. But
amazing.
Yeah, that's my childhood.
And then from there, have you been regularly going back to Nigeria, or is it?
So when I was in uni, so that's 16, right? I would go twice a year at least. Okay. Every kind of holiday, I would go back home. And I haven't been back home since 2 years now. Okay. I don't go back much often now. We lost my dad about 2 years ago. But I just not in there for me. Yeah.
And did you feel like, because I have a lot of friends like myself and that who are from a country but raised in another country, that when they go back, are you kind of like slightly segregated? Do they look at you as she's the one from Dubai, she's not really Nigerian kind of thing? Because you went really young kind of thing.
Well, I mean, I get that, but no, not really, because I feel like I'm able to, I have friends from everywhere. I'm able to disconnect and like fit in with people across places. but at the core, I am Nigerian, and I love that, and I know how to be with Nigerians. I know how to not be the outside one. I can be that as well, but I feel connected when I go back. When I go back, I mostly hang out with my friends who also don't live in Nigeria. So yeah, like people will be like, oh yeah, she's from whatever, but that's your problem, right?
Yeah, because we get that. I don't know if it's kind of everywhere, but as Arabs, when you're in the UK, you're Arab, and then when you're here, you're the English guy. Kind of, you're not the real Arab because you've been raised out there. Yeah. Even though in the UK I've been there since I was tiny, I'm still, they still look at me as English, but it's not. You don't quite know where you kind of fit in. And even here, I mean, I think I look Arab, but sometimes when I speak Arabic to people, they're like, "Oh, you speak Arabic," and I'm like,
I did not know you were Arab.
Right? So a lot of people don't, which I use to my advantage. So many times where I'm buying something or I'm just like quiet and I'm listening. I'm just like, okay, that's what you really think, huh? All right, cool. We'll let that one slide, whatever. But it's pretty cool.
I love that, yeah.
And you are also a foodie. I'm a big foodie.
Yes.
When you originally, how many restaurants you had? 2, right? Or 3?
So I have one physical restaurant.
I
have 3 restaurant online concepts.
Okay, so the restaurant, the physical one is?
In JLT. It's called
JLT.
Gbemi's Kitchen.
Gbemi's
Shocker.
Kitchen. Yeah. I'm going to be totally honest, and it's really bad of me, but I still haven't eaten in Gbemi's Kitchen yet.
Can you imagine?
I know, it's really bad.
Judging you.
It is really bad. You should be judging me. But I will do if the whole situation with Corona ever, sorts itself out. And then you have online ones which are just delivery.
Yes, just delivery. So we have catfish, which is a healthy twist on African food. And then we have a salad brand called Salad Loco.
Okay.
And then we have a vegan concept called Vegan AF.
Nice.
It's as fuck, but we say Africa.
Yeah. Vegan Africa. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Or veganly Africa.
Yeah.
And they're doing well?
Yes. So our most successful brand is Catfish, and that's done really quite well. It has a huge following. Yeah. But recently, I think about a month ago, we decided to kind of close down operations because of coronavirus and the way our company has hit. Typically, before the pandemic, we had a huge amount of lunch orders, right? Because of where we were located. We're servicing so many offices. And now we are basically working and running at 30% capacity, which is... it's not feasible, right? So we've decided to take basically a calculated decision to close down for the summer and then revisit in October to see maybe what we can do or move to kind of like a pop-up model, because we love the concepts and they have a huge following.
I mean, it's really cool as well, because even though I haven't been in there, I follow on Instagram and I see the vibe that's created there, and it's a real cool kind of African vibe that you got there, and it's like it's a very proud vibe and very kind of like you're missing out kind of thing.
That's the thing that we like to show. I feel like for me, when it comes to my culture, and you'll find in a lot of the projects that I do take on, it's very tied into who I am.
Some Nigerian
sprinkle some flavor. And I feel a sense of pride in that. Like, I'm not ashamed about where I come from. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what would I be if I wasn't this, you know? So that really speaks through the food. And it's been such an amazing time doing that project. But I think as a business owner, you need to be realistic with, you know, adapt to situations and understand, okay, how do we move this forward, right? It's never a buy or a goodbye. It's more about how can we transition this and how can we make this better? And I think just making like calculated decisions as opposed to sinking and like maybe going into depth for no reason, in order to save something that, you know, right now it's hit across industries.
Yeah, it's the whole world.
It's crazy. So I think that's that. It's not a buy, but it's a, you know, we're in transition.
Yeah, and in business also, you have to be able to, I mean, a good business person should be able to know when it's time to let go as well, because there's so many people, especially when it's your own business, you kind of want to cling on till the last minute and see whatever you can do to save it, and you have that kind of biased passion for it that you kind of don't see what's going on, and you're just like, look, it's time to let go. But it's like, no, it's my baby, and I work so hard, and blah blah blah. And
I use those exact same words.
Right. So it's just like sometimes you just gotta. But what made? I mean, did you used to cook a lot? What made you think, okay, I'm gonna open a restaurant?
Okay, so it's really interesting. Growing up, my mom was like, I guess you would say typical African mom, and we were brought up to believe that as a woman, unless you knew how to cook,
nobody wants you.
You weren't complete, you know? And oh my God, I hated this ideology. So every day we would cook food. And my dad, the way he was served like a king, like legit. Like he would be served in like fresh bowls, and he wouldn't eat food that was cooked the day before.
Really?
If my dad wanted to eat chicken, you best believe we're going to kill a chicken and bring it back home fresh. Like that was the level of care and love that was put into his food. And even though I was young at that time, I was kind of very resistant to it, but even when you're resistant to something, if you're exposed to it, you kind of have it in you, right? So when I moved to Dubai, I was like, cook me? Never. McDonald's, all the things that we didn't have in Nigeria. I was eating on fast food throughout. But when I was in uni, I joined the track team.
Okay.
I started running, and then my coach was telling me a lot about eating healthy and the importance of cooking, and I picked up an interest for it as well. I started my blog, and I was like, oh God, okay, I want to try this food. And then when I was exploring healthy eating, it wasn't in the context of Nigerian food. It was in the context of like salads and like chicken breast and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, this is what I need to do, right? And I think moving here as well also exposed me to a level of, I would say, pop culture that it was prevalent in Nigeria, but then the people that we would look at in terms of like beauty were in like, I thought my mom was beautiful. I still think she's beautiful, but she's not stick thin with abs. Like, what is an ab, you know?
You're not supposed to be stick
thin.
Like,
Exactly.
it doesn't make sense.
Exactly. But when I came here, I feel like that's when I started to really be, because I was still in my teens, right? So I was still be like, okay, yeah, maybe this is what the standard of beauty is. And then maybe I need to eat this way to achieve that. And then over time, as I explored the healthy eating, I began to realize, okay, fine, it's not about eating to look a certain way, it's about eating to feel a certain way. And I started to understand the feeling of it. But after eating all the salads and all the healthy foods, I was like, oh my God, fuck this.
I need some spice.
I need some spice. Essentially. So what then happened was I started to cook. Like I went out to the African market and I started to cook in my dorms. And I promise you, all the other Africans,
they could just smell it,
they were just coming. They're like, oh yeah, let's go to Gbemi's room now. It's time for us to eat. And people will like, literally all the events, people will be coming to my room to eat. And then my friends started asking me, oh, please, can you teach me how to make this? And in my mind, I'm wondering, didn't your mom teach you, right? Because, and then I realized that my household was very, very strict when it came to training. And quite a lot of people didn't actually have to go through all of that. Mom, are you listening? We didn't have to go through all of that. But
I mean, it worked for you. You might not realize it, or you probably do, but it kind of put you in a position of adaptation and kind of made you want to always learn something and you know, subconsciously put you in a place where you could be like a sponge and learn and all that time, which you carried through all of your life.
I'm really really so grateful for that, honestly. But that would, I think I've always been exposed to food, but in terms of falling in love with food, I feel that experience of me choosing by myself that I wanted to eat a certain way and starting to explore and experiment with the stuff that I was eating here in Dubai, and like finding the common grounds with food, because food is so common across cultures. That's where the love started for me.
That's amazing. And you know, that's what a lot of people I think miss out when it comes to training, and they don't eat to feel good, they eat to look good. And eating to look good and eating to feel good is dramatically different. And you can still look very good, do you know what I mean? By eating stuff that you enjoy. If you do the right things with it, then you can still look good. But people just go on these fad diets.
Just don't get it.
I'm on maple syrup.
Like, okay,
but what are you putting it on? A spoon? No. Then what you're putting it on? That's it. You're just eating maple syrup. Like, what kind of diet is this?
I can never. I've tried so many diets. I have, like, if I'm being honest, I did try so many diets, but like literally for 2-3 days maximum.
Did you do that Beyonce maple syrup and whatever it was?
No. Recently, I'll tell you what I did try though was the water fast.
Okay.
Yeah, I did it for what? Which is
just water.
Can you imagine?
For
That's
how
the
long?
thing. Okay, so I have a friend who did it for 21 days.
Why?
She wanted to lose weight, but also fasting is supposed to cleanse your body, detox.
The cells regrow as well. The dead cells go out,
and it pushes you to.
But that's fasting without water, not with water.
Really?
Yeah, when you fast without water, that's when your cells start to regenerate and all the benefits come in.
Really?
Yeah, it's not with the water.
I did not know this. Anyway, my level of knowledge on this topic is very surface level, but she did it and I was like, okay. So she's a business coach as well, and she did it in the aspect of, you know, it kind of improves your discipline as well, right? So I just thought, okay, fine, I could afford to be a bit more disciplined. Why not? No.
Didn't work.
No.
How long did you last?
36 hours. And then I ordered a huge shawarma.
Just that's copying it down. But did you do it at the same time as your friend?
No, so she did it before me, and
so
then she was telling me about the benefits. And then she was about to go on like another 7 days, and I was like, no.
No. Yeah, some people can do it, some people can't. And some people just like the challenge of doing something.
Yeah, I
even
agree.
if it's not, I mean, did she lose a lot of weight from it? Or?
Yeah, she did. I believe like over 15 kg.
Wow.
And she's kept it off. Like after that, she'd gone on keto.
Okay.
And she's been quite good, actually.
It's so confusing, right, that human beings have got to this point where we're so self-aware of how we look that there's a million different kind of diets, and it's just turned into a strange, huge industry, right?
It really is. And I feel like, I mean, in terms of diet, I've always been a bit more interested in the benefits. So, for example, about 2-3 years ago, I did go vegan. It was a lot because the guy I was seeing at the time was vegan, and he told me so much about the lifestyle, and I was like, this sounds really interesting. I want to do this. And I felt really great on the vegan diet. Like, I felt really strong, I felt good, but it just became like really hard to maintain. And I think for someone like me who I hate extremes, right? I want, like you said, I'm a very free spirit. Yeah. So if everything starts to become like it's being forced, I'm out.
Whenever somebody, because of the way you grew up, again, you're like, never again is someone going to tell me what to do. Like, that's it. Yeah.
So I'm like, ooh, this is too much. Ooh. But that being said, I do love eating vegan food, and I will incorporate like plant-based dishes in a lot of my food. But I'm not going to force myself or restrict myself in any way. I don't like, why?
Yeah, I mean, I did vegan for a couple of years, and the reason I did it for so long is because I didn't be like, that's it, I'm not eating meat because these poor cows and the way. I was just like, you know what, I want to do this for a while. And in the beginning it was, I'd only eat meat on the weekends, and then it started slowly just disappearing from the food, and it was a lot easier and quicker to eat than and you feel, you can smell meat on people. It's weird. It's a strange thing.
It's in the sweat.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I will do it again. I think every now and then people should kind of like change up their diet and do that. I want to talk about your whole, because a lot of women wear t-shirts that say boss chick and wear and push this whole I'm a boss and blah 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 blah. Now, you're one of the only people that I know out of all my friends that I actually look at and admire and go, shit, she never stops. Like, she actually is a boss. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, the way you do things and the way you commit to things and the way you project what you're doing, like, I really enjoy watching it. It's like, it's nice to see someone doing that and actually committing to it and doing it. It doesn't feel like it's effort, which I know no one sees behind the scenes. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But what turned you into a robot? What gave you that kind of thing that, like, no, I'm going to be a business?
Well, okay, so I think there are lots of layers to it. And obviously the good and the bad side, right? I genuinely love working. I know that sounds crazy.
If anyone follows you on Instagram, they'll know that too.
I genuinely love my work. Yeah. And honestly, if I'm doing something and I don't like it anymore, I'm not going to do it. Yeah. But if you see me doing something, I'm genuinely happy doing it, right? That's the first thing. And I think choosing, and this is one of the reasons why I left the agency to set up my own business, is because every single day I get to choose how I spend my time. And I think just owning that responsibility is a huge motivation. My dad, he was an entrepreneur. He built his business, and I grew up kind of watching him have this, his empire and have his own thing. But that being said, I also felt, as someone from a big family, I always felt like, I wouldn't say an outsider, but I felt like my dad's company and everything that he was building was his own thing. And my mom put it in us young as well, is, oh, you're not going to wait for your dad for anything. You go and build your own thing. You go and do your own thing. And also, a little bit of that was escapism. I wanted to escape from that identity. I felt like,
if I'm not taking money from you, then you can't really tell me
exactly.
What I mean?
And I felt very trapped. And even coming to school here, I didn't want to come to school here, but I knew that my dad was obviously paying for my uni in one of the best schools in the region as well. So I was like, oh God, I cannot wait to leave uni and start making my money. This was always my thing.
So you were always driven by business?
Always driven by business. And I think it was always, I saw business as an escape. I saw making my own money as a way for me not to answer to anybody, because at some point in my childhood, it felt like for me to get anything that I wanted, I needed to be a certain way, behave a certain way, and then I could get the things that I want. But I knew that I wanted to be my own person. I knew that I wanted to get my own things. So after I left uni, I had the option to go back home, and like my dad offered me a job at his company, whatever. I was like,
but you're
no.
like, hell no, that defeats the whole purpose. I got
like,
happy being by myself.
Is it not gonna happen? So I took a job that my parents did not approve of, right? So I was working as an engagement executive at a restaurant, it's kind of like a nightlife venue as well. And my dad was like, you're working in a restaurant? Like, you have to understand that this was just not done, you know? But I was like, I'm getting paid, you know?
So like, there was a while we were,
no daughter of mine is going to work in it.
It's like coming to America, Hakeem, what are you doing? He sent someone to pick you up and all that stuff.
As if you were there.
You had like another person like Semi, right? He was just there with you the whole time.
Yeah, and I mean, I did so many crazy things. So for the first crazy thing I did was I came to Dubai to study civil engineering. That was the approved occupation for me. And then
I love that, approved occupation.
Yes,
you had a pass.
My dad wanted an engineer. He has a lawyer. He has so many. He has a doctor. He wanted an engineer. So I was like, after 2 years, I became undeclared, and I didn't tell my parents that I switched to design management. And they were like, what the hell is design? I didn't even know what it was. All I knew was that I wanted to explore a more artistic side of myself. Best decision ever. I regret nothing. So anyway, left uni and I started making my own money. And I think making my own money felt really good, but also realizing that I was making money in a space where other people had created for me to monetize. Essentially, that's what I thought I was doing, working in 9 to 5. But I knew that it was essential for me to get the experience. And then I did. And after doing that for a while, I remember there was one day, again, when I work, I really enjoy and love my work. So I was working so hard, and then me and my dad were not that close, but for some reason that night he called me. It was very late, and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just leaving the office." He's like, "At this time?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you know, I was doing this, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "You know, if you can work this hard for someone else, you can work this hard for yourself." So I was like, I don't know. And then 3 months later, I quit. So I was like,
so what was the first business you started for yourself?
So what I did was I had a social media agency.
Okay.
And what we were doing was creating social media content for restaurant brands. So I've always been obsessed with food, and I've been blogging and writing about food for a really long time. And I've been very, very familiar with a lot of food entrepreneurs in the region. And I feel like that's the whole journey that's made me even comfortable to join the space, because I'm very familiar with that. So I was working with very boutique brands, helping them launch their concept for 2 or 3 months. We had like 3-4 month contracts, and we would move from client to client. So essentially, while I was doing that, I met my current business partner now. And he had a project that he was launching a food delivery concept in Africa. So think Deliveroo, but for Africa, right? Because right now we have like maybe 2 in Nigeria, and they're not that big. But this project was going to be potentially huge. So much so that he, at the time anyway, convinced me that of the possibility of moving back for the job. And while we were talking about that whole project, it was just like, oh, I've been in Dubai, blah, 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 and I really love food. And these are the recipes that I create. He's like, why don't you launch a restaurant? I'm like, I wouldn't even know where to start. I'm familiar creating content and building brands. This is what I do. But actually owning and operating one is a whole different game, right? And luckily for me, his background was in that. So he had worked with K-Cal. He had huge experience in the region when it comes to operations. So we were like, you know what, let's do this together, right? So we did. And that was 2 years ago, and it's been crazy, crazy, crazy journey.
Up and down.
Yeah, up and down, up and down. But like, honestly, amazing. I would not do anything differently. Yeah. And
are you still kind of wanting to continue the whole restaurant kind of industry thing? Or are you like, okay, I did that. It's good. I want to take the experience and put it to something else.
I feel like in the past couple of months, like 3 months, a lot of things have shifted. If you had asked me this question at the start of the year, I'd be like, yes, I want to take the concept everywhere. But right now, I really do feel like the work that's bringing me more joy is helping other people build their brands, build their concept, as opposed to me running mine. Because what's the day-to-day of running a restaurant, right? On my day-to-days, I'll usually wake up, go to the gym, you'll see me at 7, right? Work there, then I go to the restaurant, and then I'm manning my guys, manning my team. I have a team of about 12 people. And honestly, when it comes to manning the team, it's the same thing every single day.
Very
I'm
repetitive.
tasting the sauces to see if they taste good. I'm, checking the rice, I'm reading through comments. It's the same thing every single day. And I feel like as someone who is so full of
out
life,
there,
yes,
it's stagnant.
It was so stagnant. Like the beginning was very fun of like creating the concept, but once the concept was out there and created, it's management. And this is the thing that you don't realize is that for every good restaurant that you see, it is the
behind
consistency
the scenes,
and that just making sure that things are working. So I've been feeling like I needed a new creative outlet, but at the same time, I didn't necessarily want to close down the concept because it's been my MO to do many things. And this is something my mom always says, you're so restless. Can you just do one thing? Can you just do one thing?
I'm the same, yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I am. But like, I need to try different things to see what's really going to stick. I feel like now I'm very comfortable with the art of like moving through things. Yeah. I don't feel like just because I'm trying to be consistent means I need to get stuck with one thing for the rest of my life. I don't think that's the kind of life that I want to live. I want to get joy from my work. I want to keep working. Yeah. So us obviously temporarily closing down the Dubai is kind of like a break that I needed. We're currently working on moving the business to the UK. Okay. Nice. My business partners moved back to the UK as well. So if that does come up, I will take a step back in the sense that I will not be running operationally, but I will be managing the brand from kind of like a top level. Yeah. But the day-to-day operations, I don't see myself doing that anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like the whole world has kind of now realized that, with this whole situation in the pandemic, that having a hard, not a soft copy, a hard copy of a company, having the actual premises and everything, you can never really prepare for something like this, where if you're doing stuff online and you're kind of managing stuff, you can kind of do it from, because the internet didn't stop. Yeah. If anything, the internet thrived during this because everyone was home and everyone had nothing to do. Yeah. So I think a lot of people are wanting to move kind of into that online space, digital space. And what you were saying with the whole different things, I mean, I'm the same as well. Yeah. Like I get restless doing one thing all the time. And I think you find that a lot of people kind of like artistic flavor and that stuff, even artists when they, creating a song on a piano or something, not playing one, but trying to think of one and make up a new one or writing a song, they kind of put it aside for a while and go do something else and then come back to it. And then it's really fresh. And then the ideas start to come back. So you got to kind of, if you keep focused on something, sometimes you can kind of get a bit bored and your ideas won't be flowing as much. So it's nice to kind of disappear and take off.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Tell me about Digiboss.
Yeah.
So, taken off, huh?
Yes. So Digiboss is a program I've been working on since last year. It was kind of always in my mind. So to start with, I was working on a program for food entrepreneurs, right? And that was called Food Boss Academy. Okay. Essentially, I always knew that I wanted to help other people set up. Yeah. And because I've been working in food for so long, I was thinking I'm going to help people set up their own restaurants. But as soon as we locked down and everything went crazy, I'm thinking, how can I help people set up, but not necessarily with something that could be so risky, right? Because having been in the business, I know where my strengths lie, I know what my weaknesses are. And to exist and run, you can, but you need a certain amount of capital, right? To keep you running regardless of. But the program that I created, I wanted it to be accessible. I didn't want it to be for people who only had 2 million dirhams to invest in their restaurant, right? I wanted it to be something that, people could do, especially because of my journey. Although I've come from, a good family, when I did go out on my own, I did it by myself. And I know that a lot of people want to do things by themselves. And I want to show them that it's actually possible. So Digiboss is a program that helps content creators monetize their influence from a place of value, authenticity, and commitment to service. And what that looks like is that it's a 90-day program that basically takes you through 5 different phases. The first phase is really defining and understanding your brand. What do you stand for? What is your why? How do you exist? Like, why are you creating? Why do you have a brand? The next phase is really understanding and building a product that you can monetize, right? So right now, a lot of brands and influencers, the way they monetize is that they monetize through other brands. They leverage their influence other brands. But it's so it's like having, it's having like a castle built for you and then you're using as an Airbnb more or less, right? Because
it's not yours. And at the same time, you need to, this is something that I realized as well, because like yourself, I was doing the influencing on Instagram and I was getting loads of free stuff and all that. But there was times where I was just like, I can't be asked for Instagram. I want to take 2 months off. or I can't be asked to still do this. Like I don't want to do it anymore and stuff. And you have to kind of rely on like, oh no, but if I don't do that, I'm not going to get paid from them, and I'm not going to. And you become so reliable on other brands, and it's kind of, you kind of feel like you're begging sometimes.
Yes.
And it's just not an ideal way to be.
Yes. And this was the thing, that this is what I'm trying to switch the narrative of, because as influencers, as content creators, your audience is your asset, right? It's money sitting down there. And for example, for me, over the years, I've launched quite a few projects, and every single time I've launched, my first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clients have been in my audience, right? I haven't had to go out. Like, so someone who doesn't have a brand or an audience, like when they start a new business, they have to go out and look for clients.
They have to hunt.
I'm just sitting down, my clients are right there, you know? And this is the thing that people don't realize, right? So the whole Digiboss takes you from thinking like an influencer into thinking like an entrepreneur, understanding how to use your audience as an asset in a way that's ethical, in a way that feels comfortable, that's true to who you are, which is why I only recommend you building out a product that is representative of what your audience comes to you for. So for example, you're a fitness coach, right? It could be building out a fitness program. It could be like a fitness membership, or it could be your own clothing line, but it has to be something that's authentic to who you are. Yes, exactly. So it's not necessarily about selling and making money, but it's about building a product that adds to the lives of people. Because at the end of the day, exactly, if your product that you build actually solves problems for people and actually makes people's lives better, then you're going to be doing them a disservice not to have it, right? So this is the mindset shift I really want people to understand, is that to make people's lives better, you don't necessarily need to leverage other brands. You need to build up your brand even more. And that way, when you do work with brands, they don't see you just like as another influencer, but they see you as a business, because you understand what it's like to have a real functional business. And obviously, as well, as you know, brand deals are not consistent. And the whole thing about not paying.
And they will use you as well. Like you're nothing but, you know,
you're a number. And this is, at the end of the day, it's business, right? So unfortunately, influencers just put all their eggs in the brands, but brands see influencers as them building their own business, right? And this is the way we need to see as well. We need to pick, we need to choose, we need to understand that as we are assets, right? And really speaking from a place of authority is so important. Regardless of if you have 20,000 followers, 10,000, 500, you have an audience. If I say buy A and they buy A, dude, I'm making you money, okay? So treat me like that.
And it's better to have, you know, 100 real followers who like what you do than 100,000 who just like seeing a picture of your ass, or you know, just wasting time. And it came to that point as well because when I first started it, and especially coming to Dubai, because it's so young, the market, there are so many opportunities to be sponsored by this, by this, by this, by this. And even with, so I was sponsored by, you know, PhD Nutrition, which was, you know, really good, but I never used any of their stuff. So they got to a point where I was like, I'm doing all this effort to something I don't really use. I'm telling people, buy this protein and do this and do that, but I'm not even taking it myself. Do you know what I mean? I'd used the pre-workout and that was it. So it got to the point where I had to kind of be like, you kind of mature during that influencer process where you're like, okay, I'm not going to take every single, because that's how I was in the beginning. And that's how a lot of people is. Anyone that asks you for anything that will give you something free, you take it, you take it, you take it, you take it. And what also ended up happening is, what a lot of people don't understand with this whole, especially when you're new to it, is that unless you're really smart with your influencing and you've been doing it a while and you know who to do, you're just going to get things for free. A lot of people aren't going to pay you for anything. So what you're going to end up doing is having all this free stuff that you don't really need or don't really want or can't really do anything with. It's not like you can really sell it or do anything that you're really not getting anything out of them.
And then you're working for them because you're selling their products for free products that you're not even going to use.
So it's, I think people have to be very, like for now, I changed my page completely from, hey, look at my abs from the left, look at my abs from the right. Did you see my shoulder today to just me and the kids? So I did the whole fit dad thing. And so now I would only really take on people who are, child related or who, clothing for kids or something that the kids could benefit from. And even then I'm not really interested in Instagram anymore and social media. I mean, I like this kind of thing, what I'm doing now, because I feel like, like I said, I enjoy listening to podcasts. I enjoy driving and having a laugh and listen to interesting different people and learning about different people. And a lot of people might know you from Instagram, but the conversations we have today, they would never have known that about you. They didn't know about how it was when you were growing up at home and that kind of stuff. and it kind of gives them a new insight to the person. So I enjoy that, and so yeah, I think that's why I'm doing it, because if I can get 100 people that enjoy listening to me, I mean that's good enough for me. And I do want to get out of the whole training lifestyle and stuff, because that's also PTing is fun when you're 18, 19, 20 and you're running around the place and stuff. But when you have a family and you have kids and school costs 40,000 dirhams, and it's like you can't have the unreliability of 4 clients might decide I'm not continuing training next month, or I'm going on holiday for 3 months, or it's so kind of like, you know, Corona happens, that's 4 months with no income at all. So that's why I kind of want to move to the kind of digital side with the podcasting and all that stuff as well. So it's a strange thing.
I mean, it's a really interesting time to be alive. I think a lot of people are really understanding what's important to them and how to build a business that's sustainable and works with your lifestyle. But yeah, everything you said.
Because it's difficult, because the one thing that I do really enjoy about the training side is that I choose my own hours. So I get, because I mean, you know, I'm very hands-on with my children. I love my boy, and I'd love to spend as much time as possible with them as I can. So with that, I don't have a 9 to 5 where mummy's at work all day, daddy's at work all day, they're there with the nanny, and then you'll see them for 2 hours before they sleep. So that's what I really appreciate, which is ideally, in an ideal world, no one who has kids should work a 9 to 5. Because they do need your time. They do need to see you. They do need to. You need to help them grow and all that stuff. But yeah, you just got to keep doing it.
Just got to keep working.
And with this Digiboss, it's 3 months.
Yes. So it's a 90-day program, and essentially by the end of the 90 days, you will have a full system.
You will be a millionaire.
Well,
guaranteed money back from them.
No, the essential point is that you will understand how to use your influence as a business asset. You will have all the systems in place, right? A lot of the times people are influencing with the place without any strategy or
structure
kind of
or
a structure end goal in mind. So the whole point is to put you and have these systems in place so that you can essentially make money on autopilot, right? So I'll give you an example of how this might work. So I'm going to use one of my students, keep her anonymous. So I am a yoga teacher, right? And I want to essentially go full-time as a yogi. And on Instagram, I have 40,000 followers, right? 40,000 followers. If 40,000 people bought a $1 product from you, that's $40,000, right? But we know that it doesn't work that way. So based on the conversion rates, and it boils down to science. So maybe 5% of people will buy from you. Let's say 10%. So that's 22,000, right? No, 4,000, 2,000 is 5%. So that's 2,000 people that would be a buying audience, right? And before we even get to 2,000 people, I'll tell you the facts. There's a difference between an audience that's watching you and a community that's built to buy, right? There's a difference between people who want to just like your post and the customer that would buy. And in order to cultivate your customer into buying customers, there's certain words and triggers to use. So it's all down to a science, right? I teach a formula called direct response copywriting, and this gets people to buy. It's a formula that people have been using in magazines and ads for centuries. And a lot of people do it, but there's actually a way to do it, right? So you get this buying customer. So for example, as more people follow you, right? Maybe in your bio, you have a free PDF. That's a free yoga class, right? When people follow you, they see in your bio, right? I'm using Instagram as an example. So they see in your bio that you have this free class. And the more you create content around yoga, the more they want to work and learn from you, the more likely they are to click on this.
Then you will get their email address to send the PDF.
Exactly. And this is what we call a lead magnet, right? So then you get them into your email funnel, right? And then we start to look at funnels. And basically in digital marketing, a funnel is, I don't know, it's like the equivalent of you walking into a store and talking to a salesperson, right? So you're nurturing the sale. So the first time they get the PDF, they get a certain email, and then you put them into a sequence for over 30 days, 21 days. The first week they get an email saying, oh, did you enjoy that PDF? Here are more free workouts for you. The next day you're like sharing a story from one of your clients who you did yoga with, and you're sharing their results, right? You're giving them social proof. And the next time you're adding another tip, and the next time you're adding another tip, somewhere down the line, you introduce your sale, because at this point, there are 3 things that need to happen. They need to know you, right? They need to like you. And before they can buy, they need to trust you. So you're doing the knowing, you're getting really familiar with them. You're communicating with them all the time. They're seeing you on Instagram, getting your emails. and they begin to like you. And how do you get people to like you? You're creating relatability, right? You're sharing stories, giving social proof, sharing more of who you are. The more vulnerable you are, the more people are likely to buy into what you have. And
because you're like them, that
exactly,
like them,
right? And then they trust you enough to make a sale, so you can be like, for a limited time only, I am going to give you this ebook for $100, and it was $1,000 before, for example, right? And this is how you essentially begin to nurture the sale. You're putting a system in place, so as people follow you, they're automatically clicking on your lead magnet. As your audience grows, you're also growing your online business, right? And it's all boils down to math. So out of every 10 people that follow you, maybe one will buy, maybe. Right? But you have the systems in place. And people are just following and looking at Instagram and nothing is happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah. So this is the whole kind of process we take you through. It's a bit more in depth, but yeah, essentially.
I will let you know when I go on her lead magnet and click on and buy Digiboss. And does it work for this kind of stuff as well? For podcasting, for YouTubing, for social media in that sense, for people who are entertainers?
Yes. So what I would recommend is, you're a content creator, essentially, right? You have an audience, have a platform. The first thing I'm going to ask you is, why do people watch your content?
Because I'm hilarious.
Okay, so the first answer I'm going to tell you, the switch I'm going to make is, people don't watch anything because of you. They watch it because of them. So there's something about your content that's doing something for them, and that's why they're watching. So once you really understand the reason or the problem that you are solving for people through your content, that's money, right? So the problem you might be solving is that people need to be entertained, or people are
They need a break.
They need a break, right? And then you need to look even more in depth. So we go so in depth into your audience. Like, I know my ideal client avatar down to what she's going to have for breakfast. Like, I literally did a call with one girl, and she's like, oh my God, I am your ideal client avatar, because it's so specific. I know their age. I know what kind of animals they like. This is how in depth you need to go. And this is what marketers have been doing for years. And this is why sometimes you see a product and you're just like, oh my God, this product is for me. It didn't just happen, right? It's all kind of
you literally know so much about them.
You need to know so much about them.
And just to prove that I do, you watching, you're a Leo and you like lions.
Yes.
Could be wrong, could be a Cancer, it could be the other person sitting next to you, I don't know.
Yes, but it's so true, because when you are able to, so for example, maybe the people who love your content are people who just need a bit more joy in their life, or maybe, for example, it's a stay-at-home mom who just needs to love conversation, right? And then you start to wonder, okay, what problem does she have, right? And how can I create a product that is paid but still solves more of this problem? And it could be, maybe you are launching a subscription service or a subscription-based show that's all more
Which
comedy.
I am. You can get us on Patreon for all of the best bits that I missed out from edited for the podcast.
Exactly. So plug.
Yeah, exactly.
But and that could happen through a digital product, but it could also happen through a tangible product. So maybe you're doing a subscription box with, I don't know, like comedy shows from all other people, right? The whole point is for you not to necessarily just go with the most obvious, right? A lot of people are launching ebooks because, look, I'm going in digital now, I'm going to launch an ebook. No, you need to make sure that the product that you launch is something that's rooted in the problem that you're solving, and that's something that people actually want. So take the time, do the research, and honestly, it will pay off. I've seen people make millions and without even 10,000 followers off of Instagram.
Insane.
Yeah.
Benga, you want to make millions? You want to make millions? I can tell you how to do it, but you have to sign up for Digiboss, and then you'll find out later.
You have to apply, because this is my signature program. I'm being so strict in terms of...
So you choose who you're going to take on.
I'm choosing who I'm going to take on.
Pick me.
You want to join the ladies?
Is it just for women?
It's not just for women, but my ideal client is a woman, essentially. I've had like 3 men apply, which I thought was very interesting.
Because that's what I was going to ask you earlier, because I remember somewhere along the line I felt like it was only for women. And I don't know whether that was because the way you are with a lot of things, you like to empower women, with the dancing, which we'll get to later and all that stuff. So I thought, it might be a women only thing. But do you have any male clients so far?
Nope. I have them apply. Okay, yes, except AJ. My first and only.
Do it, man.
Yeah, no, but honestly, like I don't see how or why a man would not be a Digiboss. But I feel like the way I communicate, I tend to attract more women. But it's not something I'm opposed to.
Not just that, it's because they relate to you too. They're a lot more, relatable to another woman who's doing it, and seeing another woman do what you want to do, it's obviously going to be a lot better for them than looking at Tony Robbins and trying to get them to do it. It's the same thing when when people they see, let's just say, people from Hawaii see The Rock in a movie, they're going to relate to him so much more than I am, because he's from where they are. He's their kind of role model and that kind of thing. So it has that relatability with it as well.
I completely agree, and that's something else that's come up, because also as influencers in the Arab region, right? Me being like African and not from here as well, is a lot of the times in terms of how much influence I can actually have here is so dependent on how relatable I can be to people here. And this is important in every business. So it's not about like that factor of building a relatability and really exploring how you can then take people to the next level through that relationship is so key in I think in doing anything.
And the good thing about you as well is you're very good at communicating ideas and stuff, which is really cool, that I noticed as well. So it's you get a lot of people like that too who have the knowledge, but they're not very approachable. They're not very good at communicating well. They're I mean, you get that a lot of intellectuals who they can be really high intellectuals, but put them in a social construct and they don't even know how to socialize. They don't even know how to speak to someone else. Do you know what I mean? So it's also, I guess, really good to be able to kind of put your ideas across in a way where other people can feel comfortable and want to take that chance. Because also a lot of people are scared. A lot of people are scared to take a step in any other direction out of their comfort zone. And I know that's thrown around a lot, kind of step out of your comfort zone and stuff like that. But it is because people literally don't want to get out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, I think change is so hard. And with the clients I've worked with already, a lot of what I see, it's not like they don't have the knowledge or they're not capable. I'm pretty sure everything I'm going to teach you in Google Boss, if you spent some time on Google, you would find all the information. But the importance of having a coach is that they don't want to work, and the system, right? The structure of, okay, this is what you do first and this is what you do next. And also that belief that can I do this, you know? And that's confidence. A lot of the time people are so scared and they choose to give into that fear. It's not like we're not scared. Like I feel fear, and you know, I get really, really scared, but it's, what am I more scared of? You know, the thought of not having been able to do this, or just like, I think my biggest fear is to live a life and not realize my potential, right? Like to be wondering, what if, did I give it all? Did I try? Which is why I feel like I try so hard and everything, because I want to know that I don't want to look back and be like, oh, I didn't try hard enough. And if I ever do look back and see anything, I know that I gave it my best. And I know that there was nothing more that I could have given it. And if it didn't work out, then okay, you know?
Because it is your own journey. I was having this conversation with my friend the other night. And I was trying to explain to him that a lot of the fears that you have about how other people perceive you or see you or this or that, when it really boils down to it, people don't really care. And I was explaining him to the situation, for example, if a waitress is walking in the restaurant and she drops all the cups and plates, it lands on someone's leg and all the things start smashing, that will probably be in her mind for about a week, 2 weeks. Did I do that? Well, the people that were there will forget about it by the time they leave the restaurant. Nobody really cares long enough to really care what you're doing as another individual. So just focus on yourself and don't worry about the rest of the world, because everyone's so caught up with their own life. They don't watch what you're doing. But we think that everyone is just watching everything that we're doing, and every mistake we make is going to be in other people's minds for the rest of their lives, and nobody cares about what's going on in your life. Unless it's your family or significant other, nobody's going to think about you unless it's a passing thought later.
Yeah, I agree.
So also, one thing I really did want to ask you about, because I do this a lot, and I don't know why. And maybe it is because I was talking in my other podcasts, is that when you're talented and you pick things up really quickly, you get good at them quick and you don't see it as a talent, because it's, I can do this, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. So it's like, where if someone else who really tries and they're not that good at picking things up, they stick to it because they went through the hard work, it took them longer and that kind of stuff. So I find myself procrastinating a lot. And you know, it's an old saying that procrastination is the killer of time. And how would you help people? What would you say to people to kind of get out of that procrastinate? Because it's so easy to be like, I'll do it in a bit, and then
never do it.
Days, weeks goes past, hours goes past, and you still haven't done the thing that you should have done.
Okay, so I have like a bit of advice on that. I'm also a big procrastinator, believe it or not. But I read a book a while ago. I cannot remember the name of the book. And essentially, this guy, he was a professor at Harvard. He talks about the art of procrastinating and how to be effective at procrastinating. Okay. So essentially, what he recommends that you do is, while you procrastinate, right, you do something else, right? So do that something else, right? And you finish that something else. And then you come back to what it is that you're doing. So even if it's like 3-4 different projects, you still find that at some point you eventually finish all, So that's one way of doing it. It works, but sometimes it's not necessarily effective. The other thing I would say is put some pressure, right? For me, pressure might look like giving myself a deadline. I didn't have to launch Digiboss on the 16th, but I just put it everywhere. I'm like, I'm launching on the 16th. I'm launching on the 16th. And I made it happen. I just got myself together. The night of the 15th, I did not sleep, and I just, because
you gave life to it, you made it real.
I just made it real, and I set a date. The next thing I would say is have an accountability partner. So with my most successful project, I've always had some sort of partner, right? Because if it was all me, I would just overthink the idea and overthink this and overthink that. And if you have someone else who is in it and someone that isn't like you, someone that fits a different bill, that brings something different to the table, and you work well together with this person, then you guys can be a bit more realistic about your goal and setting targets. And I think those would be my best tips on procrastination, because it's one of those ones where what I'm learning about myself is I know I'm going to fuck up. I know I'm going to mess up. I know that I'm going to miss deadlines, but working with who I am and understanding what my limitations are and only really going after the things that I really enjoy. So if I'm working on a project, for example, and I really love it, I'm just going to keep doing it. I'm not going to procrastinate on it. So also, if you're procrastinating too much, then maybe it's not something that, you really
Confucius said, choose a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah. I mean, come on, work is work. I don't believe this. I believe that.
It depends, though, of what it is. Cause, I mean, if you're an artist and you're getting paid a lot of money for it,
but
you'll always have that, I have to finish this picture by
you speak to models, what do? Freaking walk down the runway and they complain.
Yeah, but they don't. I don't think they complain as much as somebody who works at 9 to 9, answering the phones at a call service.
True. I mean, it's hard to love a job like that. It's my passion is But I agree. But also, work is work. I think to a certain extent.
I found that the only thing that works for me when it comes to stuff is planning. Because there's been so many things that I've done and achieved with no planning whatsoever. But it was never as easy, as comfortable, as structured as when you have, like when you break it down, you want to build a house. Okay, first you need the floor plans and then you need the materials and then you need the blah, blah, blah. And then to progress, you need doors, you need window frames, you need all that stuff. So when you have things written down in order of steps that you need to go through, then I just find that helps me so much more. Yeah. I mean, there's other times where I'm just like winging it, and just like, okay, I'm just gonna try to do this, do that, and I'm a firm believer in manifestation. There's been so many times. Oh yeah. Okay. There's been so many times in my life where I've manifested stuff so easily and so on point to the spot that I've just been like,
what just happened?
I think I have superpowers.
So what is your manifestation process? What is that like? Can you tell me a bit about that?
Well, my manifestation process usually consists of having the idea or having the want or the need for something, and then picturing it. I used to do the vision boards, but then, there was one time that I procrastinated and didn't finish the vision board, and that's when I was just like, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. So I just think about stuff. I put it out into the universe. I'm a firm believer in, if you put it out there, it will come. There is energies. Everything vibrates at a certain frequency in this world, from a plant to a table to us to human beings to a newborn baby's cry. It's all very mathematically connected together. So I believe when you do put something out there and do it from pure of heart and you actually want it, and it's not something that, I only use manifestation for real things that I love or I want or I need. I would never try and manifest a pair of trainers. You know, even if I really liked a pair of trainers, I would never be like, oh, I wish someone would give me these, or I wish a sponsor would come that would give me them. Like with little things like that, I would never. But when it comes to bigger things like moving to another place or building my dream house or getting that contract or getting that client and stuff like that, then I've done it like that, and it's come, and I've just literally been like, wow. Yesterday I said out loud, tomorrow I'm getting 3 new clients. And then the next day you just get 3 calls, like an old Bumble call, and then you get 2 inquiries, and you're just like, tomorrow I'm going to find £1 million. Do you know what I mean?
Are you listening, universe?
Yeah, right? Tell me about the dancing.
Dancing. So I've co-founded a dance company called Dance Buddy DXP, and we do dance classes for women, by women, and I feel like we've built a really fantastic product and project. I've been dancing for a long time. I think it's a huge part of my culture to dance. We just dance for the fun of it. Like, it wasn't necessarily like an art the way you would go to like ballet school, but it was a vibe. Yeah. And that's what I really bring to my classes. So I met Eva.
I've seen it. These guys go ape shit in your classes, dude. When I see the videos, and even when I walk past, all I hear is, and I'm just like, is there Spartans in there? Or what's going on? Like, I feel like the Spartan army is about to kick the door down. You know
no,
but they're really
we bring so much energy, and the music is banging. I teach a class called Afro and this is basically a high intensity dance class. And now I'm also doing like a bit more Afro choreography, focusing more on Afro beats. And I met with Eva. Eva is Polish, originally from the UK. Yeah. And we essentially just formed Dance Buddy DXP, and a few months later, Nelita joined us, and she does more hip hop. And what we do now is that we offer different types of dance classes, right, for women across different styles. And now we have a fantastic lady called Dana who does like heels and also hip hop. So what we essentially try to do is to give as much variety to the girls as possible, and like take them through different dance styles. But more importantly, we create a space that's safe for them. They come there, if they're stressed, they leave feeling energized, you know. We really encourage the girls to like really feel confident in their bodies, you know, to push themselves, to really own who they are, to explore their feminine side, depending on the class. And for me, I really focus on, did you have fun? If you didn't have fun, then you didn't come to my class.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so
I love that about the whole, I've always said, and you're going to slap me for this, but I've always said dancing is just arrogant walking. Okay, I've never been into choreographed. To me, choreographed dancing to me has always been the cringiest thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, when you have 7 people body popping in the same place. But the one thing that I will say is African dancing. Yeah. Whenever I see it, it lights up my heart. Dude. Yeah, it's just like, that you want to join. You just feel like, I've never seen anyone do any African dancing where I didn't know that their soul was dancing with them, where they were just happy. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It didn't seem like
it was a show. Yeah, it was the dancing
exactly from joy. What you just said there. Perfect. When I see people dancing, for me it's a performance. When I see African dancing, for me, the human body is just lost control and is moving out of love. Do you know what I mean? It's just the way it is. Yeah. The expression. You very rarely see anyone doing an African dance without a smile on their face.
That's so poised, Never. You have to smile. And I tell the girls all the time. Like,
and it's always, you always see, even if it's just one look, it's like, there's a cheeky look, like, I know you can see me doing this one. You know what I mean? And it's very kind of like, I mean, like I said, I used to do a lot of capoeira. So you know what capoeira is? Brazilian martial arts mixed with dance and acrobatics. And that was very inclusive. And I get that with African dancing as well. It's very like when 2 people are dancing with each other, it's like they're kind of like having a conversation, like, you know, telepathically in each other's heads. You know, they're just sitting there looking, and the other person knows what the other person's feeling. When I see it with all this other contemporary dancing and even with hip hop dancing, the only hip hop dancing I like to see is b-boying. Because I like to see people flying all over the place, and do you know what I mean? And really, and they have such a cool culture of a back and forth, the battles and all that stuff. But it just never hit right with me. That whole kind of like, what are they called? Powerpuff Girls. What are they called?
I mean, I feel like every dance style has its soul and its place. But when it comes to, because obviously I'm partial to African dance, I feel like you're really dancing as a tribe. It's more tribal. It's more communal. It's more. I'm not dancing to show off. I'm dancing with you. We're having fun, you know? At the end of my classes, we always do this circle, and I get the girls to like run around, and then each one comes out, but then everyone is clapping and cheering for them. So it's just it's just a vibe. You know, that's all I can say.
But do you feel that yourself? Do you feel like okay, so when you're doing a video and you're doing an African dance in a video, and then when you're doing a video where it's a lot more contemporary or it's a lot more, do you literally feel the difference in yourself when you're doing them?
Yes.
Or because you're a dancer, are you like, well, both of them feel, or do you actually feel like when you're doing the African one, you just feel a lot more hyped, more happy? More,
when I'm doing the African one, I feel more hyped, more happy, more natural. Yeah. I'm not a classically trained dancer, but obviously working with the girls and stuff, I've been doing a bit more like hip hop. Hip hop is not my thing, right? It's not. I don't even listen to hip hop music, right? I just don't. I listen to afro beats and dancehall. That's my vibe. But that being said, I can respect it as an art and as someone who is trying to explore themselves when it comes to dance. I feel like there is a place, you know, it's something different. I'm learning, it's adding to my skill set, you know, my caliber. So so I really do enjoy that. Contemporary, I feel like it's just art. You need to be a certain type of way, and it takes away from
your freedom of expression.
But I do love to watch it. I love to see people express with their bodies through all kinds of dance, belly dancing, twerk, all of it. I love to see it, and I think that's the important thing is when you really do find a dance style that's for you, you lose yourself completely to it. Like you're not thinking, you're just moving, and that's the beauty.
And the thing is as well, what I find with, you know, certain dances like that is you really aren't thinking. You know, when you're doing African dancing, your body's kind of just moving by itself. You know? Where with, you know, the European style dancing, it's like, I know that I'm going to do this next and do that one, where the other one is technique. Like, and with African dancing, it's so flowy that even if you mess up, it probably just flows into it anyway. Do you know what I mean?
I tell them all the time, if you mess up, just smile and keep on.
Because it will look like you did it on purpose.
Act very confident, okay? Nobody knows. And my classes are not about technique in any sense of the word. Honestly, I want you to move, express, have fun. Other classes, there's a time and place for that as well, you know, but it's more about the vibe.
But one thing I noticed you're missing at Dance to the XP is that you don't have, you know, a young Arab man who can come in there and teach the good old napkin dances to the other Arab men. They can come in and I can be like, okay, get your napkin left, right, yes, good. Angry face. Where is your whole pass? You know, I think you should add that onto there, you know?
Okay.
So there's a big kind of like industry that you're missing out on. The angry Arab husband class. You know?
So funny that you mentioned that. Like, I get a lot of random DMs, but very recently, I'm getting quite a few Arab guys message me about dance class. Do I give private dance class?
Would you come to my house and give me a private one? Like, don't worry about the cameras. They're there always.
No. I feel like we will expand eventually. But for what we have right now, I'm really happy. We are also working on an online product. So during the pandemic, we launched an online program, a 30-day dance program that did really, really well. And we plan on relaunching a huge challenge in January. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. It's going to be pretty epic. And again, like you said, like we discussed as well, we are going full in to make this online. I think for us, physical classes now is more of an expression of who we are and just feeling that energy and vibe and connecting with the girls. But I think in order to grow and have more impact as a company and really monetize digital.
I mean, I totally agree with you, but it's difficult when you have this situation where for a business, digital is the way forward. But for your customer, because of what it is as a dance, they will. It's not the same for them at home when their kid is running around kicking them in the ankle while they're trying to dance as just meeting the girls. And for a lot of them who are mums and it's just their time to get away from the kids and just be around other like-minded people, have a girls' night and that stuff, because it's so difficult to have a girls' night when you've got kids and stuff like that. You know?
I completely agree. When we did our research, the target audience of the girls who come to our classes are not the girls who are going to buy an online program.
Exactly,
it's a completely different type of woman. And I feel like there's scope for both. Even at that, you know, because we want to expand. So we've been talking about doing like retreats and like traveling and like, you know, hosting big conventions where it's not just us, but where we bring in really talented like people from all over the world to Dubai, for example, like AJ,
like
to
AJ and his napkins.
But that's the idea, and I feel like really expanding on what we do is great. I mean, like, you know, we have so many stories of women who've lost weight with us, right? And weight loss is not necessarily what we do. But if you come consistently to a class 3 times a week, and after a class you're feeling so good, you're gonna eventually drop some weight off. People just having a better vibe. We had a really touching story of a girl who got the confidence to leave a really bad relationship. All these things that
trigger the ripples that you don't expect that they keep going. So amazing.
It's really good.
Tell me about, this is something that I do towards the end of my podcast with everyone.
Okay.
And I want to know your views about the afterlife. If there is an afterlife, how do you feel about, because as I like to know this because I'm fascinated with just what we are in general, how beautiful and amazing and lucky and what it is. And I like to have different people's views, whether they think of death, whether it's something that is in their mind, whether they have prepared for it, whether they don't. Because I get so many different responses. Some people are like, well, I've never really thought about it. And I'm like, what? How no? Do you know? I'm thinking about it now. I think about it all day, every day. Like, is it what is your views on everything?
I mean, I feel like I have thought about death, but my views, I grew up Muslim, but I don't really identify with Islam anymore, right? But I don't necessarily have a set of beliefs. I believe that if you're a good person and you have good intentions, right? I believe that you'll be fine. I don't necessarily know or think that we're going to end up in heaven or hell. I don't think I believe in hell. I would like to believe in heaven, but I don't necessarily believe it that
I believe in only the good ones.
Exactly. That we go and we get punished because, I don't know, right before we died, we said a bad word or we had a bad thought. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I believe that, I don't know what I believe, to be honest. I think we just die, I think that's it. Yeah.
Done.
I don't think.
No soul, no moving on of energy, no nothing?
No. I think we just die.
So scary.
Yeah. I do believe that there's spirits, though. I believe that they're beyond us as humans. I believe there are other beings that coexist with us.
But weren't us.
I don't know if they were us. I just believe that there are other things. It's hard for me to identify these things as humans.
Maybe that's big in Africa
souls.
as well, with spirits and shamans and these kind of things.
Yeah, it is, and I really believe in it. I believe in powers. They're good powers and they're bad powers. Maybe that might manifest as energy. And then there are ways to tap into all of that. It's more seen as the darker arts. And I grew up very, very religious, so I haven't really been able to tap into that. But if I would explore, it would probably be along that. But right now, I'm not.
But so you think that at the end, that's just the end, lights out?
Yeah, man.
Does that not scare you, dude?
Fuck. It's scary, but it's I'm also then I can rest.
Really?
Yeah.
Rest and done and. Yeah, but when you say then I can rest, are you thinking of 90-year-old Gbemi, then I can rest? Or are you thinking of next week, then I can rest?
Fuck, I don't want to do next week.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. So it changes your whole perspective on it. It's not then I can rest if it happens in a week's time.
I know, it's kind of weird that we die,
Right.
And also this year, I know 5 people who died. I feel like death was just everywhere. And that's... I mean, you don't know, right? It's not an age thing. It's not a...
Yeah.
You can just die.
Yeah. I mean, I like to get people's opinions on
this.
What
What do you think? Tell me.
I believe there's a God. For sure. I think the intricacies of life and the fact that this is helping me breathe right now. Well, not this one because it's a fake plastic plant, but do you know what I mean? The way that literally everything from down to your veins, to your blood cells, to the mud on his shoe, to everything is mathematically perfect. That I don't believe it was a fart in a galaxy and then this accidentally happened. I do believe there is a creator.
Yeah.
And I'm just really interested in the whole, because nobody knows. Yeah. Even if you're religious, there's still a part of you that's going to go, yeah, but nobody really knows.
Yeah, you don't until you die and
there's been no one who ever came back and said, by the way, it's like this or like that.
I mean, in my culture, there's this thing they call it abiku, right? People who die and they come back. So kids who die at birth and they come back, and
they come back saying
don't freak out. Yeah. But my brother was one of those, right? That's what, because he would get sick all the time, and then you have to go and do some sort of ritual and then clean you so that you stay grounded on earth and you don't die. Like kids who would get sick all the time when they're young, it's like they want to go back. They want to go back.
They want to go back where? Back to death?
They want to die. Yeah, they want to die. They want to die. Kind of thing. It gets really, really boo-boo and crazy. Yeah. And I don't know, I feel like they just, like, I believe there's a creator that makes everything happen. And I believe that we don't, like, I feel like we don't just exist as we are. Like, there's just more happening around us all the time.
Yeah, I just find it fascinating. And I'm fascinated by the fact that we don't know. And I'm fascinated by the fact that since the science can't explain this, and since day one till now, everyone's been searching for the answer. It's just like, it's just magnificent that the fact that, like in life and in the world, there's pretty much an answer for everything.
Pretty much, yeah. Especially right now.
And just in general, there's an answer for everything you could ask. But there's this one question that has surrounded civilization since the beginning.
What happens when you die?
There's just one question that there isn't a concrete answer for. I find that amazing. I find that fascinating and so interesting. And also at the same time, if it was a lights out.
Please, dude, stop freaking me out.
Like, you never think of that one moment? That one just like,
guys, please, I don't want to die now. I want to die when I've done all I want to do. I beg.
Who are you asking?
I'm asking God.
Yeah, I just find it strange. But I like to know other people's opinions of it, because some people, I have some friends and they're full-blown atheists, and they're just like, no, that's it, done, nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I believe in an afterlife, and I'm scared of dying. So how scared are you? Like, if you think it's nothing. I would think that would make you more scared than me, because I think there's something. You don't think there's anything.
Yeah.
I would be just like shivering every day. If I thought there was nothing and that was it, I don't think I'd be able to get on with my day.
Yeah, because what's the point, right?
Yeah, it's a crazy thing, dude.
It's crazy.
It's nuts.
Now I'm gonna think about this.
Right now, you're gonna be driving home like crying. Like, I don't want to go now.
I don't want to go. No.
So how is there a link for Digiboss, or do you want to say how much it is on here or no?
Yes. So I don't disclose the pricing.
Okay. Is it worldwide?
Yes, it's worldwide. You have to apply to get in.
Okay.
And the link is currently in my bio. The enrollment closes in 3 days. So what that means is that probably by the time this is out, it will be closed for 3 months. And I'm not taking in any more students till the next 3 months.
Okay.
Because I really want to work with the people that I do have to get them the result. And, like, I work so closely with them, and I want to be focused on that as opposed to, like, having new people come in, come in. And then in 3 months' time, I might review the application process depending on how it goes with my second batch. But yeah.
Okay. And is there anything that you feel that they should put in the application to make it easier for themselves?
No, I think the most important thing is just a willingness to do the work. A lot of people say they want something, but
they don't want to work for it.
They don't want to work for it.
That's so
right?
common. Yeah.
If I'm going to be giving you everything, I want you to be also giving me and showing me that you want it. At the end of the day, we're building for you. It's for you. So that's it. Also, just show up. Like, I think it's so simple, but it's a lot of people don't even.
Yeah, it's that whole take the leap thing, right?
Yeah.
People don't want to take the initial leap to do that.
They don't want to change their equilibrium.
And your Instagram it'll be up there. It's
Gbemi Giwa.
Okay.
Gbemi Giwa.
Not Gbemi.
Not Gbemi. Not Gbami.
Even Benga, he's GB as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. My dad's GB, my brother's GB as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dance Body DXB right now is also a separate Instagram, right?
Yes, we are Dance Body DXB.
Don't tell me, tell them.
We are at Dance Body DXB. Okay. Follow us on Instagram and get your life.
That's it. And also, with the Digibox, the link is in your Instagram.
Yes, so you can follow Digiboss. There's no content on the page right now, but we will be posting very, very, very soon. But I'm most active on Instagram, and if you have any questions, DM me.
Just questions, not will you come to my house and dance for me in shorts, because we're not doing that. And also, where should they be ordering their food from?
Oh, now go to Catfish DXB, order your food, get your life, get on the wait list. Our chefs are available for private bookings as well right now, so just send us a DM. Yeah.
Amazing. And what is my coupon for free food at catfish.com?
Whenever you're ready, I'm not even going to get you food. I'm going to make the spiciest, spiciest
Can
food.
you make me a takeaway spice?
Drop it for you, eat it, and then tell me how you feel.
Can you make me like a special tub of spice?
Like soup or stew with like chicken. Are you? Do you not have anything?
I love everything.
Okay.
But I mean, can I also have like do you have spicy sauce?
I have this
like chili sauce.
So we have a really good spicy sauce, and I have a dry spice rub.
Okay.
We call it suya spice.
Okay.
You're gonna love it. Do you have a peanut allergy?
I have no allergy whatsoever.
Okay,
I'm an animal. I eat everything.
This is so good. It goes on chicken, fish. Sometimes I put it on salads.
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna hold you to that, dude. You don't understand.
I'll find you.
Like I have real issues with spices. Like,
I'll find you.
Like my wife is so like fed up of carrying a spare spice thing in her handbag when we go to restaurants.
My friend just launched, actually, we help her produce. So one of the things that we're doing with our space is that we're producing for other brands. I think I mentioned this. So we helped her produce her hot sauce brand. It's called Zaffi Hot Sauce.
Okay, I'm in.
Dude, this thing, I swear to you,
I'm in.
I couldn't like almost feel like it's that hot.
Zaffi.
I'm sending you a bottle of Zaffi Hot Sauce.
Dude, I'm on. I'm seriously.
Tell me how you feel after this.
Like, I think one thing that I might want to create for people like me out there is maybe like, you know, you carry little bum bags, maybe a little like sauce one, maybe like you know how the gun holsters, like a sauce holster, nice leather or alligator and stuff. Because Dubai, you have to make like the high snake skin one and all that stuff. Because I carry hot sauce around with me. Like that's how that is.
Okay, my friend's gonna love it.
I can't order any like food in any restaurant, anywhere or anytime I'm eating. I will never eat it without adding sauce to it.
Yeah, you know? I feel you. I feel that.
Boom. And this has been a pleasure. It's been emotional. It's the end of episode 10 with Gbemi. Thank you so much for coming. And I mean, I learned a lot from this, and I know you guys are going to learn a lot from it. Well, you girls, because apparently us guys aren't allowed to learn any Digiboss stuff. But I will infiltrate Digiboss and get her to help me. And if you suddenly see the podcast ratings go like that, then you know what I've done. And I will see you next time. Thank you for gibbering with Jabber.
Thank you for jabbering with Jibber.
For gibbering with Gbemi.
For gibbering with me. Thank you.
Boom. Thanks so much.
Jibber.